be with you today. I want you to join me in song. We'll begin with a song that I love to sing called Guide My Feet. Might be a good version of it today.
Good morning. Welcome to Foothills, everyone here in the sanctuary, everyone joining us online. I'm Gretchen. My pronouns are she and her. I'm one of the ministers here, and I am so glad to be leading worship this morning with Eleanor and Lauren, also she, her, and they are from our family ministry team.
And we're also so grateful to have Christopher and Julie and Katie here who are leading us in music and prayer, and to be with all of you as we hold space together and remind ourselves that every single person is worthy of love and belonging, and that we are all in this life together.
And we'd like to offer a special welcome to all of those who are new or still finding your way. A really good place to start is the welcome table in the entrance hall right over there, right after the service, where you can ask any questions and make connections. And if you can stay a bit longer, we would love it if you join us for Inquirers. It's about a 40-minute program for anyone who is new or new-ish, and today we're talking about our caring community, all of the ways we take care of each other at Foothills through all of life's tangled blessings. It'll be in room 222 over there, and there are always snacks.
For those of you who are not new, you can help create belonging by looking for that person who's up there after the service, just standing alone, looking a little bit new or new-ish. Start up a conversation and make some connections. You might invite them over to visit the Take Action table. That's where folks can help answer questions and help you get connected.
So I've been looking around, and why do we suddenly have all these trees and poinsettias up here?
Or all these wreaths. They're very pretty,
No, that's the kind of question you can get answered at the take action table. They will gently hold your hand and they will say, it's December.
It's true.
It's December.
December is here and it's bringing trees, lights, and ribbons, along with some very fun holiday events.
Yes, at the Take Action table today, some leaders from our parents' groups can tell you all about Holiday Craft Noon on the 14th, our solstice service on the 22nd, the Drag Christmas Spectacular shows on the 20th and 21st, and our free services on Christmas Eve.
And if the holidays are feeling kind of heavy this year, we invite you to join us for our holiday healing service. That's on the 19th. It's created for anyone holding grief or sorrow this time of year.
The Take Action table is the place that has all the details that connect you in any way you're looking for at Foothills.
As we think about December and all the many feelings it holds, we're reminded of the need to accept what we can't change, while finding the courage to change what we can, personally and collectively.
You might recognize those two elements as the combination of the first two parts of the Serenity Prayer. This is the inspiration for the two-part little mini-series we've been offering that we started last Sunday. It's what we call Stumbling Towards Serenity.
Last Sunday, Reverend Elaine focused on acceptance, and today we turn towards changing what we can, which is the charge of our opening hymn. Let's rise in body or in spirit and sing out courageously when the Spirit says do.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. Oh, when the Spirit says do, you got to do, oh Lord. You got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. Oh, when the Spirit says sing, you got to sing, oh Lord. You got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 I want to see you dance on this next one. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. Oh, when the Spirit says dance, you got to dance, oh Lord. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 All right.
If you had the chance to start again, to make your life from scratch, to decide what sort of person you would be, who you would love, and how, the constant of your days, your hours, what songs would you sing to yourself or with others? What prayers would you let fall from your lips urgently and with praise, with mercy, or with hope? What blessings would you name and share with strangers or with friends? If you could take now that first step, what journey would you begin across deserts or mountains, or would you take to the sky, which despite the lessening light is still vast and filled with stars? What work would you take? What mischief would you make with boldness and bravery? What failure would you embrace? And what would you release? And where, in the end, would you return and call home? In this new day, in this last month of the year, no magic wishing or wondering is required. For such a chance is always available, as with the in and out of our breath, to begin now, to live like we mean it, to see with new eyes the life that is already and always available. So we come here to practice, to respond to this gift with wonder and gratitude, to join in this partnership, to tend to this flame even when it breaks our heart, to keep showing up, and to go with courage into the dawning day. Come, let us worship together. As we light our chalice, I invite you to join me in the words of our covenant. It begins with the word love. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Hey, Lauren.
Oh, hi.
What do you have there?
Elle, it's a Christmas present for you, and I am really excited to give this to you. I'm so obsessed with this, I really wanted you to have it. Go ahead, open it up.
Like now? Should I
Right,
open it now?
right now.
Okay.
Totally check it out. You're going to
All right.
love it.
Okay.
It's so good. Isn't that awesome?
Lauren, it's like a, it's moving. It's a container of dirt and compost with worms in it.
I know, Elle, it's compost worms. They're so amazing. Like, they make these awesome colonies, and they'll turn your food scraps into the healthiest things for your soil. Aren't you so excited?
Oh, Lauren.
They're so good.
Lauren, what made you think I would want these worms? They're like slimy. They are literally moving.
Eleanor, they are the best present in the world. Who wouldn't want compost worms? Your garden is going to be amazing, and you get to feed them, and you can put your stuff in there. And I'm sure if you just watch them more, you'll learn to appreciate it.
Thank you, I guess, Lauren.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
You're very welcome.
It's really thoughtful of you to give me something that you love so much. Actually, Lauren, I have this gift for you, too.
Oh, thanks.
Here you go.
I'm excited. Maybe it's fun. Oh, it's so bright. And, it's so pink. It's really, vivid. Thank you.
Yeah, I got it at a store. You know, I know that you really like plants and flowers, and I just love it. It's so unique.
Yes, I see the,
And
flowers there.
sophisticated.
You know, I can see that you really love this, Elle. And this is kind of reminding me of the golden rule. Maybe you've heard it. It goes something like, treat others as you want to be treated. Or another way of saying it is, do unto others as you want done unto you. And I think we've both been trying to follow the golden rule when we chose these gifts for each other. We chose something that we each really like.
Yeah, and I guess that can be a problem because everyone's different. And the truth is that in a lot of cases, what I love is really different from what you love. The golden rule is great, but not always, because every person and every situation is different.
Yeah, I've heard a different version of this rule called the platinum rule. And that version says we think about what the other person wants instead of what we want.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yeah, instead of doing what I would want, I'm going to try harder to get to know other people, to listen, and to notice what they like, and to show up for them in the ways that they need.
Yes. The platinum rule can really help me remember not to always put myself at the center. Not just with choosing awesome gifts like good worms, but when a person or a whole or they need partners to help them have more justice or more fairness or more opportunities or more goodness in their lives. Someone who is experiencing prejudice or mistreatment doesn't need me to tell them how to fix the problem. They need me to listen when they tell me what they need and what's true about their lives.
Yeah, listening really matters. And I also think that for the platinum rule to work well, I need to be not afraid to speak up for what I want and what I need, which is why I am a big fan of Christmas lists. Yeah, wish lists. Not that I don't love a good surprise, but I do love it when I can tell that someone really listened to me, they listened to what I wanted and what I needed, and they gave me something really thoughtful that they knew that I would love.
Okay. So maybe instead of worms, I could have given you something that really reflects you and what you love and what matters to you. I know you really care about the arts, so what about, like, theater tickets or music tickets?
I would love that.
Awesome.
Wow. And I instead of giving you the pink thing that I gave you, I could have given you more worms.
I would be genuinely thrilled
Yeah.
to receive more worms as a gift. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
I think I like this platinum rule a lot. The platinum rule reminds us that the most loving thing we can do is to love someone the way that they want to be loved, not the way that I want to be loved.
Do you want to trade?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let's. I'll take this.
Great.
Take that. Yeah, absolutely. And now, let's sing together. In a moment to rise and sing and continue singing all the way to the end of the song after the children exit. But first, let's have our kids come forward up here, right in front of the stage. Come on up. Here they come. I see some Christmas outfits. All right, now, congregation, let's rise and form arches of blessing over the aisles as we sing our children on their way. Let's all come to the center aisle here.
Let your light shine through, and your heart ever be true. Move in grace and gratitude, walk in wisdom, sharing all that's good. Hope ever, faith ever, strengthening you. Life ever, breath ever, nourishing you. And everywhere you go, may you always be home. And everyone you meet, be messengers of peace.
I invite you to settle into a time of prayer and meditation. We begin with prayers for our community. This morning we are holding in love Ed Beers as he heals after a stay in the hospital. And Linda Beers as she has entered hospice. We're also surrounding and care Betty Met, mother of Regan O'Keefe, who's been in the hospital last week and is in pain, but each of these members of our community, as well as all of those who are holding sorrows and joys in the silence of their heart, feel surrounded in compassion and love, the love that is embodied here in our community. Christopher will continue us now in a time of meditation.
The Serenity Prayer was first offered by theologian Reinhold Niebuhr in a sermon, and it is familiar, especially in recovery communities, for its combination of both personal responsibility as well as surrender to a higher power. It can be a helpful prayer to turn to in times like these, when many are feeling overwhelmed or helpless. For the next few minutes, we will spend some time with this prayer. I invite you to let your breathing slow and your gaze soften. Allow yourself to settle in. I will offer the words 3 times, pausing between each. Each time, I invite you to listen for a word or a phrase that stands out to you today, that connects you with a feeling that you are needing. Maybe it's something that when you hear it makes you breathe more deeply or relax into this moment. Or maybe it's a word or phrase that brings energy and focus into your body. Whatever you need, listen for it in this prayer as you hear it repeated over these next few moments. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I invite you to bring to your mind now a word or phrase that stood out to you from this prayer. And we'll all just say them out loud together in one big jumble here. We go 3, 2, 1. At the heart of each of these prayers is the practice of trust. So we pray to trust ourselves. And trust there is a love always holding us and moving through us in every part of life. We pray to trust that we are all always worthy of love, no matter what. Let's continue our meditation as we sing together. There's a river.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river
Says Yes to Me by Caitlin Hahn. I asked God if it was okay to be melodramatic, and she said yes. I asked her if it was okay to be short, and she said it sure is. I asked her if I could wear nail polish or not wear nail polish, and she said, honey, she calls me that sometimes. She said, you can do just exactly what you want to. Thanks, God, I said. And is it even okay if I don't paragraph my letters? Sweet cakes, God said. Who knows where she picked that up? What I'm telling you is, yes, yes, yes.
I've come to believe there are two types of families. The first type exchanges lists for holidays and birthdays, and those lists become like little mini contracts, wherein you spell out what you want, and then everyone agrees that is what you will get. The second type, on the other hand, they do not need lists. Because, sure, you might drop a few hints there, here and there, or someone might ask you outright, but in this family, lists feel kind of like an insult. Because in this family, they know you. They've been paying attention to you all year long. Their gift, the real gift, is knowing what you want before you can even ask for it. So, quick show of hands, who grew up in the first type, the list makers? Okay, and who grew up in the second, the ones that like surprises? Yeah, maybe some of you have a little mix of both. I'll admit that before I met Carrie, my partner, I didn't even realize that the first type existed. Not that my sisters and I didn't make lists growing up. We eagerly awaited the arrival of the Sears catalog. Anybody else? Okay, for those of you that are younger, the Sears catalog was like a printed version of like a Target website. Pages of toys and gadgets. I know that was just in the back, but for me, toys and gadgets, just waiting for a big black marker you could circle. So to be fair, some of what we circled did end up under the tree, but in my family, the gold standard of gift giving was not about the list. The true prize was the surprise. The moment when someone gave you something that you didn't even know you wanted, but somehow it was exactly right. And of course, the flip side of this was the fear of getting it wrong, which meant if you were on the receiving end of a surprise, your job was to affirm that it was perfectly right, even if it wasn't. Now, you might think this has made me exceptionally skilled at graciously receiving gifts. I would have learned to make every present feel perfect. That would have been a handy skill as a child. And as an adult, unfortunately, my face never really mastered the art of hiding the truth. Perhaps you have noticed that. But when I met Carrie's family, I discovered a whole new way of doing things. Because in Carrie's family, nobody guesses. They don't have to, because instead, just give them a list. The lists are practical, clear, they include a range of options from free to extravagant. So when the gift-giving day comes, everything you open is from the list, the contract. The real gift in this scenario is knowing somebody listens to you and believes what you said you wanted was actually what you wanted. It is amazing. And for a while, it was really a challenge to get used to. Because this explicit naming of what you want and need to get something turns out is not just a different approach for how to give gifts. It points to an entirely different way for how people can approach life. A cultural mindset that has come to be known as ask culture. Ask culture is distinct from the other mindset you might be familiar with, which is guess culture. You're getting it? Okay, writer Gene Shu breaks down the differences like this. In ask culture, you seems out of reach or like a big, unreasonable request. In ask culture, it's fine to make requests that people might say no to because you trust that they'll say yes to what feels good to them and no to what doesn't. On the other hand, in guest culture, you only ask for something if you're pretty sure that the other person is going to say yes. You signal subtly about what you may need, and then you look for their indirect contextual clues before you make a request. Because the goal is to never put somebody in the awkward position of having to say no. That would be rude on your part. So this struggle between ask and guest culture went viral a few years ago in an advice column. And this man, he wrote in because he was offended that his wife's friend had written to them out of nowhere to ask to stay with them during the trip they were making to their city. He found this question rude, and he didn't know how to respond. Okay, so do you think the question itself was rude and you wouldn't know what to say either? Anybody? Okay, well, if you do, you're like, kinda, you are likely a guest culture person. If you think all the friend did was ask, and they could have just said no, you're probably an ask culture person. Just like with families and the gift giving, people tend to identify more with one or the other, especially depending on our racial and cultural background, our gender, and also generational norms. The dominant American culture tends to be more ask than guess, which doesn't mean that many of us don't struggle to know and then say what we need or want or what we don't. I think of how often I have seen people struggle here to hear, literally to hear in a group. I can see them, sometimes some of you, on Sundays, straining to read lips, unsure it could be okay to ask for a microphone to be used. And then later, sharing feedback that it was really hard to hear. This is guest culture at work. Guest culture can work pretty well when you exist in a monocultural setting, because the contextual clues are well understood by everyone. But guest culture becomes increasingly difficult to manage as diversity and group size increases, especially when you try to work together or live together or enjoy holidays together or make a country together. Let alone do anything of real meaning when we aren't just talking about naming what we want on a wish list, but when we are trying to get clear on the life that we long for, the values and the experiences that live behind the want. Princess Hemphill described in their new book, What It Takes to Heal, the difference between naming what we want, the stuff that might make our Christmas wish list, and what we long for. Wants are surface level, like a gift or a goal, but behind each of them, there's often something deeper, that is our longing. Longing is the stomach-dropping yearning for something like belonging, or connection, or healing. Longing is the embodied craving that shakes us awake and draws us towards a possibility of real change. If you think saying what you want is a challenge, longing, probably saying what you long for, probably feels impossible. But it is in our longings and naming our longings that Hemphill says real change becomes possible. Hemphill describes how when they first named their longings, it made them feel queasy and small, yet a little more free. And it made them wonder if somehow this naming had made their realities more possible. So, what is the deeper longing behind your wish list? Something that would make your stomach drop when you think of it. The thing you most desire, and also the thing you're maybe the most afraid to say out loud. To have us pray for courage in the Serenity Prayer, Reinhold Niebuhr must have known that more than anything else, fear is always the biggest obstacle to moving towards those longings, those things that require deeper change. We can long all we want individually and collectively. We can even name that longing. But research has shown that until we are able to manage the underlying fear, what Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy call that immunity we have internally to change, our self-protective habits and self-understandings that tell us that life is dangerous and that we should therefore do things forever exactly the ways we have always done them, even if we long for something radically different, even if we desperately want to do something else. This is why Niebuhr prayed for courage. God, grant me the courage. Could have chosen any other word. Grant me the courage to change the things I can. Courage to meet the fear. No longing, no change is possible without it. We talked about courage a few weeks ago. You might remember I offered my Choosing Hope checklist. If you recall, the first two, I think, are the most memorable of the checklist. It starts with be afraid, and then the second one, be more than afraid. Because courage is what happens when you are connected to that something more. Something or someone that you love more than you are afraid. When we are able to stay connected to the love that is more, we can move through the fear into the change. This is courage. Courage is, after all, a word that comes from the Latin root cor, which just means love. In one of its earliest forms, as Brené Brown writes, the word originally meant to speak one's mind by telling all of one's heart. Courage is not an individualistic, heroic move of strength or valor. When we pray for courage, we are asking to simply be vulnerable enough to make space for the longing to show up, for our deeper needs to surface. We are praying that in this vulnerability, love will meet us unconditionally. We are praying to be listening for the longing and for the love. We are praying that we can be heard. We are praying to hear. And we are praying to trust that our longing and its naming is, as Prentice Hemphill says, where all healing begins. God, grant me the courage to listen and to ask for what I need. Grant me the unconditional love that will meet me not just in my wants, but in my longing. Grant me the wisdom to know that this vulnerability is where all change begins. A few years ago, I had the chance to sit with a colleague, the Reverend Karen Gustafson, for what she calls a life review. She offers it for clergy at her home on the shores of Lake Michigan. Basically, she sits with you for 2 days straight while you tell her the story of your life. She asks some good questions, you make a little art, and that's basically it. Except for one other key thing, which is that she asks you repeatedly to say what you want. For every meal, for every session you have with her, what, when, whether you want to eat with her or eat on your own, what time you want to start, when you want to have your breaks, when you want to be done. She will follow every direction you give her, but she will not relieve you of making and voicing your choice. It is, especially at first, excruciating. I mean, just try being in a stranger's home and telling them what to make you for dinner. Excruciating. But before that pain, what was even harder was knowing, what do I want? How should I even know? She does this on purpose, as practice for the sessions. Because part of the life review is about trying to get clearer about what you want your life to be. That is the deeper thing, what you are longing for. And because there are so many things that can get in the way of hearing yourself or or breaking through what Hemphill calls the futures imposed by our families, our communities, by our society. As Hemphill says, just as a fish can't conceive of water, we often don't know about or consent to the visions that we have inherited. Within their grip, it's difficult to know who we really are or what we might become, again, especially depending on your gender, your race, your class, your generational norms. But Karen says that having this practice on small things, it helps. When we practice listening to what we want in smaller ways, it becomes a little easier to listen and to name what we long for in a deeper sense. And when we practice asking for the lower stakes wants, and then see them being received without rejection, we see that we did not die of awkwardness, but instead we were rewarded with gratitude and the exact meal that turns out would bring us pleasure. It serves us as a reminder that we will be met in our fear and in our longing with love. It's a way to actively build your capacity for courage. So in the coming weeks of December, there will be many chances, I believe, to practice these small moments of wishing out loud. By sharing our literal wish list or saying actively what we want to eat, and when and with whom, what party we do or do not want to host or attend, what tasks we want to be ours and which we do not, when we would prefer a different chair, or when we would need a different pathway without steps, when we would need to take a break and sit down, when we cannot hear and need somebody to use a microphone, when we need to take a deep breath. Each of these smaller moments offer us the chance to practice listening for and then naming what we want so that we can build the muscle, that is, the courage, to listen for and to name what we long for and to say it out loud. If your stomach is dropping at this moment at the thought of this, it means that you're probably on the right track. And in case it helps bolster your courage, I'm going to offer a few tips I've learned from Carrie's family. I hope they apply not just for holiday gift giving. Okay, ready? I can't wait for her family to hear this and see what they think. Okay, the first one is take time to listen to yourself and write it down. To ask yourself what you want and offer options. As my friend and colleague, the Reverend Nori Ross, likes to say, you can always get your own way if you have more than one way. Second one. Despite what you might think, saying what you want is a gift you give to people who love you and who you love, even if it doesn't feel like it at first. Remember, this is all a practice. The third, if you're having trouble figuring out what you want, it's okay to ask for help. Remember at the beginning of that life review, I was like, how would I know what I want for dinner? I just ask my kids. It's okay to ask for help and then to have somebody listen until you find your way to the truth. The fourth, it feels really good to be asked for your list. So ask the people in your life what they want. Express a genuine curiosity about each other's desires. We can call this curiosity another form of love. 5, remember that asking, this is so critical, the whole thing works because of this one, asking does not always mean you get what you want. Disappointment, though, it turns out can be a gift too, because it shows that somebody respects you enough to be truthful about their limits. It's the only way this whole thing works is if we trust that somebody can say no. When we take the risk of asking for what we need and want, this miraculous thing sometimes happens. And when we share authentically our heart's deeper longing, it in turn gives people permission to do the same. This in turn can become a transformative practice that, as Hemphill says, can reshape the contours of our whole community and rework the structures of our world, so that we reimagine together not the world that we have inherited, but the world that we actually need. In these days that require so much change and so much healing, may this listening, this naming become a central practice, with this as our prayer. God, grant me the truth of your unconditional yes to my very being. Lead me on the path of yes to our shared longing. Lead me on the path of yes to every great and wild dream, nail polish or no nail polish. That place where we are all healed, where we are all free. Yes, yes, yes. Amen.
And it breaks my heart to see a dear old friend go down the worn out road again. Do you know the sound of a closing door? Have you heard that sound somewhere before? Do you wonder if she knows you anymore? Wrapped your love around me like a chain, but I never was afraid that it would die. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye. Where did you learn to walk? Where did you learn to run away from everything you love? Did you think the body would ever read your pain? Did you think that love's a foolish game? Did you find someone else to take the blame? Or wrapped your love around me like a chain? Never was afraid that it would die. You can dance in a hurricane, only if you're standing in the eye. You can dance in a hurricane, only if you're standing in the eye. I am a sturdy soul, and there ain't no shame in lying down, baby. Can you fight the urge to run for another day? You might make it further if you learn to stay. But I wrapped your love around me like a chain, but I never was afraid that it would die. You can dance in a hurricane, only if you're standing in the eye. You can dance in a hurricane, only if you're standing in the eye.
what we need and want, it creates opportunities to ensure that everyone has what they need and want, because it frees us, like I said, from the limits of the reality we have inherited, opens us up into new possibilities. For example, when we say we need a world where no one is without housing. It's a basic vision, and it is a vision that I've heard articulated by the Executive Director of Homeward Alliance, David Rout, every single time he has spoken publicly. It's simple, yet somehow radical. He does it because he wants to remind us that we shouldn't be used to people not having access to housing. It shouldn't be radical. This conviction drives everything that Homeward Alliance does, from running the Murphy Center shelter to providing case management, to laundry services and supplies and more. Their work responds not just to immediate needs, but to the deeper human longing for dignity, safety, and belonging. For example, recently, Homeward Alliance has worked to hire bilingual staff to better support immigrants who are experiencing homelessness in our community. And recently, they opened a health clinic within the Murphy Center that offers both physical and mental health care to anyone experiencing homelessness, regardless of their insurance or ability to pay. These programs were born from listening to the clear needs of people and responding with creativity and generosity. And in doing so, Homeward Alliance affirmed that deeper longing, where everyone belongs, everyone deserves dignity, and everyone deserves safety. In these winter months, Homeward Alliance's work is more vital than ever. So I invite you to give generously as you are able, as everything you place in the basket, or donate by texting to share to the number on the screen, will be shared equally with Homeward Alliance and to support our mission of unleashing courageous love in our lives and all across northern Colorado and far beyond. We will now gratefully receive your offering.
Fire in the house of the Lord. Fire
come to the end of our service, that time we set aside each week to turn our attention towards gratefulness. So I invite you to just take a deep breath and find a posture that, Sean likes to say, kind of shakes off the sermon funk, energy in your body. Just open your heart and listen to whatever might be arriving this morning that feels like it connects you to love and life at a bigger sense. I say bigger sense, but that doesn't mean the thing needs to be big. It could be just simply like gratitude for the people that decided to make the seats in here just a little extra wide. Sometimes I sit in other places and I just immediately start thinking, wow, I love our wide seats so much. Maybe it's gratitude for somebody near you. Maybe you came here on your own and you're just grateful that you got to come here and then you weren't alone. Maybe you're feeling grateful for the light. Shorter each day, but still, as it reflects off the foothills. Whatever it is. Look, you all can't see, but for me, I look back in these moments and I am grateful for the 3 babies in the back row. Life continues. Whatever it is that's on your mind and in your heart that is connecting you to life in the bigger arc. Just breathe in a sense of gratitude. Davidson LaRosse, who teaches this practice, he uses the word gratefulness because he says often when we think about gratitude, we immediately shut ourselves off and say, oh, thank you. Okay, now let me get back to the problems. He says, no, the practice is to keep going, to let it fill our hearts, stay with it, to keep our minds focused on those things that are a blessing. Until we are so filled up. And he says this, I don't just do this as a thing that I say at the end of the service because we're about to sing. He literally says that you cannot help but rise and sing because you're so filled with gratitude. So I invite you, if you found that place of gratitude, that gratefulness, to rise and to let the song go forth.
We are moving in wider circles. We are moving in wider circles. We are opening our circle. We are moving in a wider circle. We are opening our circle. Oh, be a compass. I'll be your lighthouse. I'll speak your words with triumph. I will watch your mouth. I'll march with you, my sibling, to your place of fearing. Dive into those waters, swim into the clear. We are moving in a wider circle. We are opening our circle. We are moving in a wider circle. We are opening our circle. Dance break.
as you leave this place and this community, I want you to trust in that love that does keep saying yes to you, nail polish or no nail polish. Yes to your wishes, and that is yes to every longing that lives behind those wishes. In this love, may you have the courage to keep wishing out loud, for after the wishing comes the work for a world where we're all healed and all free. Our worship service ends, our service just begins. Go in peace and in love.